Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on our YouTube account, and there have been a lot of questions about the Vault of Time or the Abyssal Expedition. So I want to go ahead and answer those. If you have them, definitely pop them in chat. Also want to give you an update of where we're at. We have a lot of things to do in here, including the Misty Valley with the new loot, which overall, the new loot in the Misty Valley is pretty good, but they could have done better and they could have added more stages in there instead of adding more loot and essentially nullifying some of the loot that we did have in the current content. Now, I also did drop the new code that is in there. There is a new redemption code that dropped for Mother's Day today, of course, within the United States, and I believe around a majority of the world. It is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to you, or happy Mother's Day to your mother as well. So thank you guys for joining me. It's a very little bit of a later live stream, but it's been kind of crazy today with everything going on and the celebration of the holiday itself. So again, want to hop in here, show you kind of where we're at with the Abyssal Expedition, and also start with some of the new, you're being kind of the new Misty Valley rewards are pretty crappy. Yeah, I feel like Lith, they could have done a lot better. Out of the rewards, they could have added more stages as they're continuing to add more stages within AFK Arena itself. Absolutely, they could have added a lot more stages that had a lot more chapters with rewards out of there, but unfortunately they didn't. They chose to just update some of them. What's going on, Jaffa? So in here, one of the tricks, or one of the things, and a few different things we want to talk about, is when it comes to leveling up. So I'm just going to run through some questions. If you have the questions, what's going on, Taunts? And Little Lemon is here as well. If you have questions, drop them in chat. Now, when you're collecting your resources, and again, I want to run through some of the questions that I've been getting. So when you're collecting your resources, you are picking up some of these relics. Now, I only use relics. I only equip. I only use my essence at the point of making progression or leveling up or going through. This is because the chances of you getting another relic. Now, if you use a relic, for instance, right here, Regicide. So if you do get a relic and you get it out of a randomized drop through the properties that you own or the settlements that you own, it is cheaper than spending resources to build them up. Let me repeat that for a minute. So if you're going in here and you get the braces, which are RNG, this isn't going to apply to all of the different classes. But if you get the braces, if you use the braces, it is cheaper than utilizing the essence that you have. This will allow you to level up faster. And even looking in here where we currently are, I just unlocked the Fortitude, meaning we finally got to level 3 within the artifacts. And you always want to focus on your quests. This is going to unlock the tile limit cap. This is also going to unlock the available heroes. You want to work and you really want to focus on getting and building this up as soon as possible. Also getting the relic sold. Now, why is this so important? I'm going through here and getting the relic sold is going to give me the ability to actually have a lot of other heroes in here that I can utilize. So I want to show you the teams. Now, we talked about the teams in a different video, and looking in here, you can see this top team. So this is going to be my farmer team, which is the very first slot. I have Naruko, which is the tank. We have Shimiro, which is the tank. We also have Lucius, which is the tank. Now, you'll notice in here, too, we also possess 2 warriors. One is the awakened version of Entendre. One is the awakened version of Athalia. Both of them super strong in their own right, but I am not building up the warrior tree. This is where the relic comes in. This relic soul gives the abilities to use other heroes in here, meaning when I'm going in here and I'm fighting, let's say, a tier 5 by chance, when I'm fighting a tier 5 formation that does require more than 1 battles, I can use 1 tank, I can use 1 warrior. That warrior can have the relic soul, and they are going to have the same abilities that we have within this tanking tree, which is the reason to save it, which is the reason to build it. Now, overall, when we start looking at the rest of the heroes in this formation, these 2 sets, the first one, of course, is the Draconic version of Gwen. The second one is the original version of Baden. These are the boss killing teams. Even coming down here and looking at all of these lock slots, as we continue to rank up, as we continue to get a higher title, as we unlock these, they are going to be filled with boss formations. So fast forward in the Vault of Time, once we go in the Vault of Time, once we get to the point of being at the final boss, so once we do land in here, and I believe this is the final boss, once we get to the final boss, then what happens is this top team gets unslotted. We slot another team into this, essentially into this slot. Then we continue making progression on the boss because we're set at that point. Right here, I did get five more settlements I could take. At this point, we are taking tier 5s. So I am going to take 5 more tier 5 formations as we continue it. What tree do I think is the best for the Abyssal Expedition? So honestly, and again, thinking of this a little bit bigger, Vault of Time is way too convoluted for my small brain. It's pretty easy, Miko, even if you run in here, even if it's stupid, even if you build out anything, even if you build out everything, it doesn't matter. You will still reach Prince if you are playing the Vault of Time. If you want to be competitive, takes a lot more. If you just want to play the game mode, it's super easy to do, especially when you start building out these relics. I've been playing for years now and still don't understand the Vault of Time. So Vault of Time and collections are two, is it Jermaine? That players have said they never ever understand it, which I really, it's not super complex. So going in here, building out one collection, because even in here, guys, you can see we have both of these relics. I'm going to build this one because it is super cheap. Even the one down here, again, this one is very, very cheap. This is going to ensure that I have the ability to take and really dominate when it comes to tier 5s. We will not have any ability with 3. So right now we're on level 3.3 because we have 3 of these relics built. And when you look in here, that is what we wanted. That was our goal, is we wanted to acquire 3 Elite Blessed relics, which we did. Now right here, occupy 10 settlements of tier 4 or higher. I'm going to take 5 more tier 5s. That is going to meet that qualification. Occupy one of these in the Charfall, and then get a couple more Essence. Essence is a little bit behind right now, in my opinion, but once we do level up that Essence, and again, that is going to come with time, we'll have the ability to, again, and you can see, guys, how much green we have in here, how many places we've taken. We have tier 3s right now, tier 4s, and we have tier 5s. You can see a lot of players even kind of mapping down, trying to pull up a couple of these tier 5s without spending an insatiable amount of stamina to actually go through here and continue progression. It looks like this is where we stopped, but I think we're going to shoot probably right over and just continue through this way. Now, a couple things to note with this Abyssal Expedition. Number one, there are a ton of places that literally run into walls. There are a ton of places that I feel like they could have done this a lot better than they did. A lot of players are, trying to map through and can't actually map through some of the content because they're running into walls in their entirety. I'm going to have to pull up a map. I'm going to see exactly which way we're going to be pathing to go through here. And you can see all of these down here. They're probably never going to be touched. They're probably never going to be taken unless we're going down to the gate bosses down here. Now, there's also a few bugs that we'll talk about. Now, some of the bugs we've seen is when it comes to these linked bosses. So what has happened in a couple of Abyssal Expeditions, when you kill one boss, it is supposed to kill the other boss that is linked. Unfortunately, in some of the Abyssal Expeditions, we are not seeing that. The linked boss is not dying, meaning the one linked boss is staying alive while the other linked boss is not dying, which is kind of crazy. I wish I had put the boss teams up earlier. I couldn't find any and use something I tested. Honestly, you can drop them out, Lith. I mean, if you're looking when we dropped them up, so I literally dropped the boss teams, I believe a couple hours after release. So you might have 1 or 2 teams in there. The other 3 you can definitely do. And again, those were from the Chinese server that we seen them. It is killing the boss. You need to kill the guard teams. No, we killed all the guard teams, Lith. So on the first boss, so what had happened was this first boss, we killed the boss. We killed all of the ads. So what we did was we had killed the boss here, and then we killed all of the camps in here. The boss still did not die. Lilith said this is a known issue, and this was shared over on Reddit, that it was a known issue that some of the bosses, for whatever bug, whatever reason, were not dying. They took out all the camps. And again, I believe it was Tardos that put the post up there that said, hey, the boss didn't die. We took out all the camps. Boss still did not die. What the hell is going on? And they got the respond that there is a bug and they're trying to work it out. Hey, dude, what's up? What's going on, Nato Gaming? So again, that's kind of a quick kind of down and dirty update for this. Again, I'm going to have to look at where we're pathing, which way we're kind of headed. Do you need to purify all the lavas? No. Do not purify all of the lavas. Even when you look back where we are, there are a ton of lavas that are not purified, that again are not going to be purified as far as I know. that there are a lot, even like right here, these are not purified. You only have to purify the route you're going through. So again, a lot of these scorched earths, even right there, are not purified and will not be purified because we are not going through that content. We're leaving it. You do not have to do all of these. Now, a lot of players also said that if you're purifying a lot of these, when you get further in here, we don't know exactly how many purified waters you're going to get, or how many divine waters you're going to get, and how many divine waters we are going to need to progress further in. People are wasting water in our run. Yeah, so we did it systematically. So right here, we required, and again, being in a bigger guild, a more competitive guild, we donated all of the divine water. So with the divine water specifically, only players that are Star of Dawn players or leaders within here can use the divine water, because we knew people are going to use it. Right off the bat, we said when you get divine water, automatically donate it. There is going to be, again, systematically the way, but also take it with a grain of salt, because when you start going in here, it is the beta version. It is the test version. Guys, this isn't the hardcore one. This isn't the competitive. This is the version where you're testing out a lot of different things. When you want to come in here and you want to build a couple of places out, this is where we are going to test it. Now, for me, I've been running Lucius in here. He is just an absolute monster if you have him as a big build, especially throwing relics behind him. Once he ults, it's pretty much game over for everybody. 1 or 2 swipes, he takes it down right there. Saying you need 3 core relics at rare or higher, or level 3 with any core relic class. Need 3 of them for the quest. Yeah, you need 3. So 3 is the quest. We have 3 built up right here, which is the quest. Now that, of course, completed this little part. Now I'm going to take the tier 5 that we have right here. And like I said earlier, I've been building and looking at what we have. So right here is Chimera and Naruko. So I do have 2 tanks in here. We could actually swap in Chimera and then let's say Athalia. Athalia, of course, is going to pick up that relic soul. We are not using any beasts. Now with Athalia, Athalia is one that will delete people really, really fast. If you have some heroes that are really well built, you'll notice, boom, right there, takes down a couple targets. It's pretty easy to get through here. It's pretty quick to get through here. Couple that you have to be kind of a little bit more cautious about when it comes to taking some of these camps is number 1, Orthos. When you get a really well-built, strong Orthos, that can be a lot more difficult to build. The other one is when it comes to Oden. Oden is another one that is incredibly difficult to kind of get through, depending on the build. Now, for me personally, I love Naruko. Naruko with Nadia is super strong because it's incredibly hard to kill. And I've even seen a couple places where Naruko has died and Nadia took out everybody else. But right there's an easy tier 5. So we do pick up the lands that we are looking for here. Now on this first one, of course, we're going to drop this one. We're going to pick up some more tier 5s, getting to the point now. In addition, I do save right now 1 or 2 of these settlements because we want to make progression. If you're doing 1 at a time, literally 1, then 1, then 1, it takes a long time to path if you're going through here yourself. But I'm going to go through here because, again, my top row in here is pathers in the entirety, and I'm going to use them just the way that is. Is the relic you upgrade, tanks, mage, celerity, support? What does it mean? Yeah, 3, yeah. So again, when we look at the relics, so this is another thing. So when we talked about this earlier, there was really 3 really strong ways to do this. Number 1, if you went all in Dura's Might, if you went ahead and built the warrior tree, if you built the tanking tree, if you built the mage tree, it can work, but it's a lot more difficult to go in and build the mage tree, or starting with the mage tree. Ranger, there's a very, very few amount of rangers that we really use in here. That is where the relic soul does come in, is when we're building out the rangers. And a lot of players also had the questions is why are we not building support? Now, of course, when it comes to substance, you can see a majority of heroes are in the substance tree, but essentially this is going to be the substitute or what we build when we get towards the end game. When you look at all of the heroes in the substance tree, we are not using any of them. 0, none, until we get to the boss. By the time we get to the boss, one of these relic trees are going to be at level 5. This is usually going to be at 4.2, 4.4, possibly even 5 before we start attacking. So we're going to have a level 5 fortitude. We are going to have a level 5 substance. We're going to have the ability to use both of the trees in conjunction. anybody else. So when we got the warriors in there, again, looking at Entendre, Athelia, even Baden, they are going to receive the Relic Soul. Same in here with Draconic Gwen, going to be the Relic Soul. Even looking here with Trishea and looking at Aurelia, broken into separate teams, going to use the Relic Soul if we need to because of the build and the formations. They do work. The Heroes Without Earrings, I know, Sagu, it's really, really weird. The Heroes Without Earrings and with earrings. They said that's a translation issue, so we have not seen that or adjusted that yet within the Ghoulish Gallery. Now, another thing to note is when it comes to these South collections, now, if you are running the original version of Baden within the Abyssal Expedition, players are actually using the Isolde collection. So going in here and building out the level 2, or essentially the +2 skill on the Isolde collection, being able to make this is what is being run on Baden. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be run on a couple other heroes in here, just for the fact that it is pretty strong when it is built up to the skill level +2, to go in here and run this. Now, I do need a total of, 6 more totems that I need to use. And I think I'm going to go in here and, if you've caught some of the screenshots, if you've seen lately, these collections, even running a lot of blue totems, have been doing incredibly well. We have seen some really, really well-built collections that have been coming out of here. And you can see we do have quite a few that are in here. I already have 5 levels up. We have 2 Miracle Workers. I believe we already do have, 1 sitting over here. We do not have our second attempt in here yet. So let's pull this one. I want to see if we can, there we go, a double right there, guys, another level up. And then, of course, we did pull this one, which is the crit rating. So to get crit rating, this is imperative to really have. Now we have 2 of these. Of course, these are going to go in here. We're going to use the custom totems to unlock the other slot, because even if you're building out and using these 2 in conjunction, even if you don't have a ability, or if you don't have a collection that runs, the +2 or the +1 or the +2 skill level requirement, you can still unlock another slot for an entire new skill just by using Miracle Worker. Makes a big difference. What's going on, Carol? Thank you for joining us. Honestly, I just put any heroes that add to the gauge. Oh, yeah. I know some, and again, you can systematically do this. You can go through here and build out very specific collections. And they do work pretty well. And again, we've been seeing a lot of really good RNG. I'm going in here building this out. Now, again, I want to wait till I have a custom skill scroll, which means we want to level up the collections. Now, some players will just go in here and literally throw garbage in here to get these leveled up, to get the rest of these unlocked. You can see we do need a couple more legendary bizarre totems. So if I go in here and I throw some of the garbage in a collection, let's do one run in here, and I want to see what we're going to get. So let's do this collection again. I have 7 of these. What do we have the most of? Let's do 6 of these, 1 of these. It's going to tell me that it doesn't work because that's a warrior collection and we have this. So let's start exploring. Boom, there we go. It doesn't matter. Other totems, not to worry about it, because I just want to go in here and I want to finish this in the entirety, and I want to see what I get. I honestly want to see what I get. Now, this, of course, is going to give us the ability to upgrade. Very cool. You always want to enhance this. Unfortunately, I don't think I've seen it upgraded yet. There's some defense and some full erosion. So let's see. Shot number 2. This is just a replicating. This doesn't give us the ability to upgrade this one. And running through here, guys, it's a lot easier than it used to be, just for the simple fact that we can go in here and we can quick explore this, which again, looking at 3 bizarre totems, let's discard all of the basic ones. Gives us a physical pierce. Okay, but look, that got rid of everything. It gave us everything. Physical pierce. Now in here, we want crit damage. We want crit damage amplification. Chances are we're not going to get it because we didn't use the right resources in here, which again, this one I think is going to be kind of a garbage. What's going on, Kristar? Kristar, how is it going? About 1 in Forge rituals succeeded. Yeah, I haven't seen that rate yet. Boom, there we go again. Nothing in that Forge ritual. Couple more in here. Upgrade, absolutely. Let's upgrade the physical pierce. I wish it just upgraded to a higher level of the physical pierce, but it's funny because this looks like it's a really strong erosion collection, but I don't think, what do we got? Physical pierce. Yeah, I mean, if we're doing damage in here, let's go ahead and swap this one. We'll get a little bit of physical pierce. Maybe there's someone we'll use this one on, because we also do have the erosion, which again, we want some crit damage amplification, full buffer. We're on floor 10. Yeah, this one's going to be kind of garbage. There we go. So we used 3. We did get 3 out of here. Again, this seems like it's going to be kind of just a garbage collection. This is probably one we're just going to go ahead. We're not going to re-roll. We're not going to do anything. We'll probably just get rid of it because this is going to be all pretty much... I'm going to do all full buffer. Why not? Let's make a really big buff collection. This, again, is one that we're going to go ahead and we're going to etch. Not too worried about it. Not going to use it, but... that gave me 3 more utilizations within that Thane collection, meaning when we go to our collections, we're going to be able to unlock this and have the viability to use it on a couple more. So we got to do 2 more runs in here. Remember, 3 more Legendary Bizarre Totems is going to give us the ability to actually unlock or get that level up card. Then the 3rd one we run can actually be the real run that we do in there to build it up a little bit further. Yeah, 1 and 5, I haven't seen it yet, Lith. So out of all of the runs that I've done, I have not seen that ritual succeed once yet, which is kind of stinks. So here we got light bearers, and then it looks like different factions. Again, we're going to go in here. We're going to throw our favorite little Athalia in here, and then I'm just going to drop anyone in here because this game mode, super easy to get through, super really good loot in here. I know, again, we talked about the loot a little bit earlier and how they could have made it and could have done it a little bit different. I know Lith and I talked about it, but definitely could make this. So what does it say? 5 different factions in the formation. So let's drop out some of these light bearers. Let's drop in a few different friends in here. And there we go. 5 different ones right there. Holy, I finally caught another stream. What's going on, Mystical? Yeah, guys, I hopped on here again. I know it's a little bit of a later stream. And happy Mother's Day if you are a mother, or definitely make sure that you wish your mother a happy Mother's Day. But overall, wanted to hop on. Had a lot of things going on today with the holiday. It's always a huge event, which it definitely should be, to make sure that the mothers feel special in the world. So very cool. But thank you guys for joining me for the late night stream. Definitely getting there. Again, 20 seconds, unlocking a couple more doors in here. I also do have to do quite a few summons in there. We can knock out some summons, but I also have to do quite a few when it comes to Poe coins. Gave my mother some gifts. Yeah, we did too. My kids, I still have kids in elementary school. I don't know if you guys do, but kids in elementary school, they make a lot of really cool things. They did pottery, they did pictures, they did some laminated stuff. They do some really cool stuff, you know, that was all focused and kind of built all around Mother's Day to make mothers feel special. It was really cool to see. It was. Do we already have the optional teams for the new guild battle? Not that I've really seen. So I'm going to have to look. Let me look at that, Mim, because we can hop over to the test server and I can see what they have in there. And I know only 1 iteration of the boss was up. This one, we need Raoul and we need Palmer. Let me make sure there's Raoul. Where is my Palmer? There's Palmer. Yeah, I'll have to look for the new guild battle. I'll have to see what they're using on the test server. Now, one thing to note, though, is both Mim and Lith, when it comes to the new guild battle, there are not very many players that play on the test server anymore. So it's a lot tougher. That's why I know a lot of players and a lot of people that used to play on the test server, right now they don't. So I know we probably have, even looking at the first, I would say 5 to 10 formations, there's not a lot of players that have literally everything maxed that are, you know, the huge whales like what we used to see over on the test server. It doesn't happen anymore. I feel like a lot of players are not playing the test server anymore. And it's sad. So don't trigger more than 5 ultimates. Let's hop back in here and finish that one out. I don't want to miss any of these. And this one's easy, guys. You can literally just turn off the alts and it makes it super easy. We'll just stay with Athalia when we get enough energy in there, or we won't even have to do anything. It seemed like that battle went a lot faster without alting at all. Go ahead and finish. And I don't think we can finish all of this today. I think we're at the point where we cannot finish all 10 stages today. But like I said, we'll knock out a lot of these. Yeah, I'll check it out, Mim. I'll see where we're at with those over there. Let's turn on the alts again. There we go. Yeah, I'll see exactly. So win without any mage or tank in formation. That means we're just going to leave in our warrior because no mage, no tank. Let's go ahead and drop our warriors in here, which again, I just kind of play around with. We'll drop them in. No, Misty Valley. Oh, is it completely open? That'd be awesome. Now, guys, with my timeline, with my schedule, with everything else we're doing, I try to make progression. I know that's why when we do live stream, when I'm sitting down here and making sure that I have, a dedicated hour to actually hop in here, do the live stream, chat with you guys and everything, I try to also accomplish a lot of the regular stuff within AFK Arena, checking the boxes off, because if I don't get time later, I might forget about it. I might not be able to do it. I want to make sure 5 different factions in the formation. Again, when it comes to game modes, when it comes to AFK Arena in general, it is about the constant progression of really moving forward. So for the tier list, is Aurelia above Demia in priority? Because in the popular hero section, Demia is above Aurelia in almost every aspect of AFK Arena. Both of them, Mystical, are still very, very high. Aurelia, Aurelia is very unique in how she works. Demia's cheat death is what is really well. Now, for the popularity, Demia will still be there for a considerable amount of time because her utility is still there. And also with Demia is a lot of players still don't have Aurelia built. So if you're looking just at kind of the popularity, a lot of players that don't have Aurelia built are not counted or cannot be counted in there because if they don't have Aurelia built. Now, Aurelia does require at least that plus 30 signature item. A lot of players have said the plus 40 isn't an absolute priority, but the plus 40 does help her out considerably. But again, if you're under a plus 40, it can still work. This one I need Olgath, which again is kind of a weird break. And then we need Rowan in here as well. My boy Rowan, still my favorite hero in AFK Arena. Yeah, overall, they both have a really unique place. And being, one being a support, one being a mage. Aurelia is a mage if you're not familiar. They do work in very different formations. So the thing with AFK Arena that we really note right now is there are so many places that so many heroes are used. When we start looking at, creating 3 teams, 4 teams, 5 teams, then you start looking at the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, the Treasure Scramble, the Campaign, the Towers. When you start looking at a crazy amount of multitude of teams, it's incredible. It's incredible how many heroes you have to have built in all of these different game modes to really be on the competitive, kind of the edge, the competitive part of AFK Arena, because there are so many different game modes that are there. I got base all level 4 in one day. What do you mean? You got base all level 4 in one day? Do you mean in the Abyssal Expedition? Or do you mean, I also finally got Lucilla ascended 2 copies from 1 star. Very nice. Lucilla is still another one. Utility wise, Lucilla is used not only in like the Liberta formation, but also used in a lot of other formations, which is pretty cool. It's cool to see, again, some of the heroes that have a much higher, like a longer utility. And I wanted to make sure, I think it said the same class. So let's do Warrior. Let's do Celestial Warriors. Let's do Hippo Warriors. What do we got? Hippos. Let's do Warriors. I think this is going to fulfill both of these. Yeah, I don't know if you mean base level 4 and all day. I don't know if that's Beast. I don't know if that's the Abyssal Expedition. Just say the new guild boss stuff. It looks cool. Yeah, guys, the guild bosses were so far behind what it needed to be. It really did. The guild bosses are about 5 years behind what it should have been, which is crazy. Did they change the damage cap? Yes. So the new guild bosses are a lot different. When it comes to making progression, I'm not sure where the damage cap is. I believe Riz and Soren still have the damage cap. But I know the new boss was a little different because it's progressive. That is the big thing with the boss, which is the new boss up. I wonder, I didn't even look at it today. Is the new guild boss up? I'm wondering in here if we have, let's hop on the guild hunt. So it is. Yes, again, a lot of players for earrings. I'm gonna have to look at the formations, and again, looking at the leaderboard in here, what do we got? So right here, we have the Athalia formation, the awakened version of Athalia. So we do have the twins in here. Right here is Liberta. And then in here, look at that. That is crazy. And of course, we don't have the relics. So again, topping the leaderboard right here, you can see a really high build on these heroes. Now, again, it doesn't have the collection, just have the signature item. I'm gonna have to try some of these. I'm gonna have to copy out some of these formations and see. So Bright doing incredibly well. Yeah, there's a lot in there to do. And again, I'm gonna have to see, because also Riz is here and Soren is here, guys. I thought they were gonna be gone. They were not gone in their entirety. I believe that's still the point of killing out the boss itself. This is gonna give us, of course, the regular rewards that we've seen. Yeah, it's still there, even highest damage dealer. But I'm gonna have to look at the new guild bosses and see exactly what it looks like. Getting some rewards out of here. Let's go ahead. Let's finish the rest of this out before I get sidetracked. Yeah, I'm going to have to see, because right there, guys, you can see we had some pretty easy formations. I'm going to have to see what teams we're looking at or what's going to be the best in slot team. But it did look like that Athalia Liberta combination and then Randy in there, which again is going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I didn't even look. I didn't even notice. Didn't pay much attention if they were going to be up. So this is Maulers. Then we need Grez and Nemitsu. So let's go ahead. Let's drop in our Maulers. And then we'll drop in Nemitsu wherever he is. Every now and then Nemitsu does make an appearance in a couple different game modes just because of the haste buff that he does. And I would love to see the awakened version of Nemitsu. I think that would be really cool to see. If we did have the awakened version of the literal Mauler carry forever, that was kind of crazy. So if you're unfamiliar, Nemitsu carried the Mauler as the support hero for what, the first 3 years? I think it was about 3 years that literally we seen that very strong carry from Nemitsu, because at that point, he was the only one. He was the one and only one, which again was kind of crazy. That he carried the entire faction for a incredible amount of time. All right, so if we get the Misty Valley done, I'm gonna pick up some of the higher level resources in here as well, because getting some of those epic chests, getting those draconic insignias, getting some of, again, the new updates in here are going to be very important. As we continue, again, as much as I'd love to be them built up a little bit higher, adding a couple new chapters in there, couple new loot levels, still getting some new ones in there. Is there a hero that can replace Nox? Yeah, Nox is very unique in what he does. You could pop a couple different supports in there that kind of do similar, like the energy regeneration piece in there. You could toy around with it. You could try a couple different support heroes that really come to Nox, because he does a couple different things. Velfira might be a good one. Shuna, if Shuna's not used, might be a pretty good one. Even maybe Melion or Misha could be another one in there you could try. I would have to kind of test it out, just because I know the game mode itself is not super tested right now. Like I said, on the test server, we don't see as many players on there as we have seen in the past. And I feel like with this boss changing every single week, or excuse me, yeah, every single 7 days, we are getting a new progressive guild boss. I personally would have done the guild boss a little bit different than they did, but we'll have to see. Now, what was this? Rangers. Backline must be Rangers. So Celestial, Hippo, and Rangers. So let's do Rangers. Let's do Celestial Rangers. And then let's do a Hippo Ranger. That should go ahead and do this one. Yeah, Nox, again, when you start looking at different support heroes, who exactly replaces it, there's a couple substitutions in there. Again, you have to think about like what the hero does with the buffing, with the energy regeneration, with a couple different things. Yeah, I would try a few different ones in there. Mystical, until you find one that works. And it also is dependent on who you have built. That's the other one where if you don't have Nox, yeah, you could definitely put a couple. I don't know if land would work in there. If you have land built, again, that could make a difference. Sophia, possibly. I don't think Sophia would work just because of how she works. Solus is another one. I don't think Solus would work, again, just how she works. We need Liberta and we need Ivan in this one. Let's drop Liberta in here. Ivan could be another one. When you think about the damage dealing capacity, if you don't have Nox, Ivan might be a pretty decent one to put in there, just for the fact, again, energy regeneration, thinking of amplifying the damage. That could make a difference. That could make a difference putting a hero like that. What are we on floor 17? Maulers and then the ultimate ability. So let's drop our Maulers in here. And again, Brutus is still a monster, guys. I love Brutus. He is still probably, I would say, Awakened Heroes. I think Brutus is still one of my favorite. He is just such a mountain. He reminds me of, what is it, the mountain in Game of Thrones? That just gigantic, massive guy that's kind of crazy looking, just based on the size, which is awesome. So far, I did Misha and Jerome. My damage with Misha was 61 and Jerome was 60. So pretty close. That's what I was kind of thinking is Misha, Jerome. Palmer might make a big difference because crit damage amplification. But of course, with those in the combination, 5 different factions, is you're not going to see a lot of the energy regeneration. That's the other thing in there is you're not going to see a lot of the regeneration factor in there that they might put out. That's where, again, land might work. Did you try with different? Yeah, different collections. Little Lemon coming through. Yes, different collections could make a really big difference. And also, what collections do you have built? That, again, is going to be, oh, you did Palmer. Yeah, again, Palmer I like, and Palmer is more of a very, very high-end damage dealer because, again, of the crit damage amplification. Because when you start thinking of like Scion, when you start thinking of some of the heroes that are very reliant on crit, could make a big difference. Yeah, Palmer's one, again, kind of a little bit different in there. Oh, let's put our alts back on. What was the second one in here? Defeat at least 2 heroes with the same one. Last one, guys. No, without any warrior or support. So in here, let's go ahead and clear this out. So no warrior, no support. Let's go tank. Let's go celestial tanks. No warrior, no support. You know what? We're putting the wall in here too. Let's go with a hypo tank. Not too many. Honestly, not too many overall. Let's see if we can get this one done. I didn't do collections. I'll try that. Yeah, collections make a big difference. When you look at the ability to stack, really stacking stats on there, it's kind of crazy. Have I been seeing the new dims in the Curse Realm and the Nightmare Corridor? Yes. In the Treasure Scramble, I believe that is also yes. We've seen them in the both different places. I know Nightmare Corridor, the mages in there, and then Laios, even though he's a warrior, a lot of support. And there we go, guys. That is all clean. That is done. Let's pick up this final chest out of here. And let's change up the reward. So they reset this. Now out of here, gold we're not going to need. EXP we don't need. This is going to be essence all day. Number 2, we don't need diamonds. Honestly, we don't need any of the essence. We're already maxed out. I'm going to do the guild coins. As much as I like the diamonds, I want the guild coins right now. This is specific to my account. Normal players, I would probably get this, but honestly, when you look at the guild coins, you have a Highborn Draconic hero in there, you have an Awakened hero, you have the insignias, you have the dimensional gear, and you also do have those Temple of Time cards. I would pick those. Now out of here, I would never choose rare. Looking for an elite stone could be a Celestial or a Hypo. Again, this could be an Awakened hero. I would choose the Awaken, the Time emblems out of here. This is always going to be red chest, short of needing beasts. If you do not have your beast to 18, and again, this is my preference, I would get the baits out of every single game mode until you get the beast up to 18. Once you get them to 18, you are going to be done in its entirety. In my leveling push, I'm actually ran out of XP. XP I have forever, Lith. I can't even imagine. I need essence. XP I have forever. Now here, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 3 would be ideal. I want Poke coins. I burn through an asinine amount of Poke coins. I would go ahead and I will choose Poke coins. Again, out of here, we're going to do red chest because I do not need the baits. In here, this could be an Awakened hero with the stone. In here, just pick whoever you need. I'm going to put Mira in here because she is the newest. And looking in here, guys, we have Mira, we have Goran, we do have Randy, and we have Misha. That is the last 4 heroes, probably the last, year that we've gotten those heroes. Now, red chest or cores, I go cores because I need a lot more of the engraving mats. Again, red chest in here again. This is going to be cores. In here, red chest, you can see kind of what we're doing in here. Draconic heroes, always over the regular. Even though that could be an Awaken, a Celestial, or a Hypo, I'm going to get the Draconic scrolls out of this one. Here, again, we can pick up a tier 4 stone. Going into red chest territory, going into more cores. This is going to be Stargazer scrolls, again, being able to get the Celestials and Hypos. Now, out of here, I'm going to do the Epic Emblems, getting those plus 40 signature items. In here, again, we're going for the tier 4. We don't need these. I don't need baits. In here, again, I don't need anything. We'll go for another tier 4. Go for the Epic Emblems out of here, because, again, Epic Emblems, we don't need Twisted Essence. I don't need shards. We'll go for Poke Coins. And the final one, of course, are going to be the Draconic Insignias, which is crazy. I thought I'd never run out, but I did. I've been using Dust and Gold, 2, 6, 8, and 24 items. Just to stack. Yeah, I know, Lith, I know you sent me a screenshot a while ago and how many absolute crazy things that you had built up in there. For me, I use everything and I use it all of the time. I actually just gained 1 more level today, but even looking at where we are experience-wise, I know we have a crazy amount, and that's 15K. That's a lot of experience. Even looking down here, guys, let's knock out a couple summons. So we do have another copy of Hildwyn that's in there, trying to get him built up to those 5 stars. Look at this, 16 stones. Do we get anything good? We got a Halos, and we got, of course, 2 that we really don't use, but that's okay. We did get 1 Celestial, 1 Hypo. Can we get an Awakened hero out of here? Boom! It is an Awakened version of Baden. Look at that, guys. Very, very nice. Very lucky to see. And I know Baden, I don't think we have Baden at 5 stars already. And then, of course, we are building up Wukong again. And then even looking in here, what was our last one that we had? I think are just the rares. I'm going to leave those right now. Regular heroes, we just have this kind of just crazy built. We have so many copies of so many heroes in here. Even here, looking at Mira, a lot of players are saying, where's Mira being used? Mira is being used some campaign formations, but really the tower is the place that we are seeing Mira being used. Not really too many places outside of there. And then Hildwyn, we almost have, what do we need? 1 more copy of Hildwyn, and then he will be built. Even looking here at Gorgie, we have a ton of copies of Gorgie, just kind of sitting on them at this point. Yeah, definitely lucky. I love it. 115 scrolls in here. Let's go ahead and burn through these. It's probably going to say that we are full with our heroes like it always does. Even looking at our wish list, we're pretty much full. I'm looking for Celestials. I'm looking for Hypos, and that is it. That is all that we need in here. We get some Hippo, we get some Screg. I would love to see a second Awakened hero in there. That's another copy of Ivan. Again, he is already maxed out. Mira's at 4 stars. Come on, Celestials or Hypos. Come on, Awakened hero. Let's see the legendary, that little gold shine in here. It's been a long time since we pulled one out of here. Just naturally pulled one. There's a copy of the original version of Belinda. And another 100 scrolls done just like that. Rest of these I'm just going to leave. Let's go. We got 6 pulls in here. And I'm wondering, I know Dolly has a new dialogue of who is going to be coming next. After Lucilla, I'm building Nox or Lysandra. I would build Nox. I would definitely build Nox well before I built Lysander. Just for the fact, again, utility-wise, I feel like Lysander's utility is going to be very short-lived. I don't see him keeping a place for a long time, Mystical. I would build Nox. Absolutely, I would go in there and build Nox. Now out of here, look at this. We do have, boom, Zekus goes to Legendary. That is going to be a game changer, guys. Just kidding. No one used Zekus. Another Awakened Sport. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering. But you also have to remember, guys, we are in May. It is literally, what, May 11th? We have seen one, and only one, which was Mira, of the primary 4 factions. We have seen literally 1 hero. It's been our Dimensionals, it's been the Celestials, the Hypos, it's been the Awakened. We have only seen 1, which again is kind of insane to think that it has only been 1. that we have seen in that 5-month period. To me, that's crazy. It's crazy with how they're pushing, the Celestials and the Hypos and the Draconic heroes in such a very strong way. Chimera is my first Awakened hero. I wonder how far I should build her. So with the Awakened Hero Z, you got to build them to a plus 30 signature item, the 9 of 9 furniture, and a plus 60 engraving to unlock all their skills and abilities. If you don't have them built up to that, unfortunately, you're not going to see the utility you want because the hero is going to be missing a big chunk of the skills. You got to build them out. I build them one by one. Since you have Chimera, Chimera is still a very high utility hero. I would go ahead, I would build up Chimera, get her ascended to 1-star, get the engraving on there, do the signature item, do the furniture, and then move on to the next one at that point. There's a copy for Laos. Now, Laos, we do need some furniture. Same with Marcial. We need a couple more. They might be preparing for an influx of, the 4 Awakens, yes. There's another copy of the Awakened version of Gwen for another pull right there. There's another copy for Scion. We are getting our strong heroes even stronger in here, guys. It's really, really cool to see. And there we go. There's a lot more Poe coins that we burned through. And that's why I said, when it comes to Poe coins, guys, you will use them forever. Forever. You will always use Poe coins. There's never going to be a point where you have everyone completely built out. And even looking here, upgrading, what do we got? We have 2 more pieces, and that will take Gwen to a 36 max out in the entirety. Even looking right here with Iran is almost, again, 100% max out in his entirety. Max on the bottom. Upgrading these furniture kind of piece by piece. Even there's +1 across the board for Scion. Building it up just a little bit further. What do we have here? Do we have Marcial built? 7-7. You know what? I'm going to finish our Marcial, and then we'll just continue. As we always do, this is going to, of course, take her to the 9 of 9 furniture. Again, Nightmare Corridor still seeing some utility. So there is that 9 of 9 like we've seen before. We'll make sure that everyone is good on the optimization, which is good. Recycle what we're not using. And just another pull with Poe coins like we've seen. Dolly's dialogue says, hurry and prepare some more ingredients. Our pal has quite an appetite. Which is funny, Mystical, because right there, it makes me almost think, and there's another copy for Zora, that when we got Delicious in Dungeon, they're literally talking about food. What would it look like if they brought another dimensional hero over with the dialogue that Dolly's talking about? And again, I know it's probably not going to be happening, but how funny would it be to see like a Senshi that came over with Dolly's dialogue talking about more ingredients and how he eats in the anime itself? I think it would be pretty interesting. It would definitely be pretty cool. Now, also, guys, you'll notice we are in chapter 72. If you caught the video where we were actually doing some progression, I did finish out 71 in its entirety. I believe we have quite a bit more loot in here in our quest to pick up within the campaign. So 71-60 does yield us 30 epic emblem chests, 20 red chests in here. We also do pick up some additional diamonds, tier 3 stones, 20 more of our Stargazer Scrolls, chapter 71 stone, bringing us into chapter 72, which is awesome. I have Demia at 36. Yeah, it takes a lot. It really does take a lot. So get her copies to get 1-star. I didn't choose her, but I got her from regular summons. Honestly, yeah. Build her up, take her to 1-star. I believe my Chimera right now is at 2 stars, just because we kind of over summoned for her. But yeah, getting her up to 1-star will unlock the engraving. That is where you want to get her built. You definitely want to. You don't want a bunch of half-built heroes. Definitely want to do this. Now, out of here, we did get the VIP code, which is, again, going to yield me some more elemental cores. And this is the Mother's Day code, so you are going to be getting another 600 diamonds out of here. The rest of this is just the regular pickup for what we have for the day. We'll go ahead and delete that, and that is completed in its entirety. So very cool. We got all the way through the Misty Valley. Even looking Joyous Celebration, this again is going to yield us some of those in Draconic Insignias. And we're almost at 200. I think Draconic Insignias already, guys. We're almost to 200 Draconic Insignias. We're getting close. Now, when it comes, 178 right here. When it comes to these Insignias, you want about 600 to guarantee that you can build a Draconic hero, which is kind of crazy. It is absolutely kind of crazy building them out. Now look here, guys. Twisted Essence, we have 57,000 Twisted Essence. Again, we're looking at our library, looking at the Elder Tree. This is maxed out in the entirety on every single branch. Unfortunately, we cannot level it up any further. Makes a big difference in the Abyssal Expedition. I'm hoping we get more additions to the Field of Stars as well as a couple other game modes. I'm going to have to run through here and do my Ghoulish Gallery. I've been slacking over the last week. But overall, looking at the heroes, the event is almost done. It's almost time to get the heroes. Then you do have to wait after you get the heroes for them to be unlocked, which I know does kind of suck because you have to wait the other 28 days to actually get them once you have the chests in their entirety. But I mean, we're starting to get some more diamonds out of here. The Dream Store is already done. Guild in here, again, this just reset today. We're going to go ahead and buy those. That takes us to 188 in there. Barracks, of course, we buy these out every single time. Not really anything else to do. In here, we're waiting for the reset to get all of these picked up. Challenger Store, I just bought some red chests today, which this is kind of the never-ending supply of what we have going on in here. So it's really cool to see. I'm going to have to hop in here and check out the bosses. Also wondering, what is a good time to stargaze? I heard beginning you shouldn't use diamonds on it. So Z, the general rule of thumb is when you are at the point within Faction Tower. So when you look at starting to stargaze, honestly, the point is when you go into the King's Tower or when you go into the Faction Towers, the Celestial Sanctum, the Infernal Fortress, once you get to the point of farming Stargazer cards out of here, this is where you're going to use them. This is going to be the place where you get your regular income when it comes to getting your Stargazer scrolls. This is where they are going to come from. They come, I believe, every 5th floor, which is right here after you hit, I think it was 125, correct me if I'm wrong. But once you start farming your scrolls in here, all of the Stargazer scrolls are going to be used for the Stargazer. Once you get to that point, you can start using diamonds, but up until that point, you want to use diamonds to do the regular summons, to farm cards out of the towers. You don't want to do it. It's every 10th floor, actually, mystical. So it's like, I think 125, 135, 145. It is every 10th floor that drops the Stargazer scrolls, but that is the point that you are going to farm them out on a regular basis, is going through there. So let me hop in the guild hunt. Like I said, I want to go in here and I'm just going to copy the formations in here and see exactly what this looks like. Because right now you can see we're already leveled up a couple tiers. Want to make sure that we're maxing this out in the entirety. And I do have some teams in here. Let's go ahead and drop this one in. And I want to see what this looks like. SP effects are up. Now in here you can see we have all of the bonuses. In here, the exact same. We have all of the bonuses. Let's go ahead and run through and see. Yeah, that's the reason. Because unless you're a whale, unless you're putting money into AFK Arena, unless you're purchasing things, I would absolutely wait till you're getting those Stargazer scrolls. Those Stargazer scrolls are going to build your Celestials and your Hypos. But when you can get the cards out of there, then you can switch it up. You can use a little bit of the diamonds in there. But overall, that's exactly where you want to be using them. Now, this fight, I feel like there is a little bit of RNG. Just finished the Awakened version of Thorin. Finally, very cool. Congratulations. Awakened version of Thorin is really strong, guys. A lot of players did the swap for the Awakened version of Thorin, which again, most of them said there was absolutely no regret, G-Star, when it came to finishing out Thorin. And Envy is a priority. Absolutely, Envy is a big, big, big priority when it comes to building it. And again, I'm not going to skip through this. We only have a couple more seconds. I wanted to see if we were surviving this entire battle with this Enrage timer, which it looks like we are. I mean, right here, almost 36 billion, which is pretty cool. Of course, team number 2 is going to be a lot of damage coming out of Demia, is what we've seen. So I want to see exactly what this looks like, kind of based on, again, the formation. We know Leica, very unique in how she works, and I think we could probably... Wait, is this already over 32? 34? We're a minute in, guys. This is pretty broken. Look at the damage counter up there. I did not swap for Thorin. I did Zora. Zora's a good one, too. Zora is best in slotted in some formations mystical. Even as a secondary crowd control damage dealer, Zora does incredibly well. Zora is used in a lot of the campaign formations, of course, the tower formations, even PvP. A lot of places, Zora is being used in the entirety. And it almost looks like damage kind of stalled out here because we seem like we ramped it up really quick. But in here, yeah, the more life they use, the more they enrage. So I think we're going to go the full minute 30 on this one as well. Boom, damage dealt 71. So we are at 71 as well. Personal rewards, let's see what tiers we're at. There's some Stargazer Scrolls, and there, of course, could be another Awakened Hero. Yeah, we're in tier 1 right now, which looking at the rewards, definitely want to pick these up every single day to make sure. And again, you're getting a lot of coins out of here. I'm going to have to try this. Now, remember, your damage is also cumulative. So you want to do the attempts that you get out of here every single day. Yes, yep, that's it, Mystical, right there. They are cumulative. You want to get all of the battles in every single day. You don't want to miss any of these because they are cumulative when it comes to the battle. So right there, we got 71. That is a new record, bringing me to 142 billion damage in here. This, again, you want to help the guild. You want to focus on building and helping out your guild. You don't want to be the one dragging them down, holding them back, anything like that. You want to make sure, again, that you're using all of your resources, very similar to what we see, you know, with the Abyssal Expedition and everything else. You want to make sure that you're using everything in its entirety. And let me make sure that we do, what is this letting me, wait a minute. This is not letting me gift memberships. What is happening in here? That is kind of odd. That is very odd, guys. I hopped on and I hopped down to do the gifting of the membership. It will not let me do the gifting of the membership. That is very, very weird to not be able to do the gifting of the membership. I have the access for super stickers. I have the access for super chats, but I do not have the gifting of the membership. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that. I'm going to have to see what exactly or why we cannot do that. Again, I have the super chats, which I don't want to send myself super chats. Yeah, I might have gifted too many time, Twin. I don't know. I don't like that, though. That's weird. I literally only have the two options. I have the super stickers, which, what stickers do they have in here? Oh, they have some pretty cool stickers. But overall, I'm not seeing, they have the pair. Yeah, they have the GG. They have the thumbs up. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen all the super stickers, but yeah, there is no gifting of the membership in here, which is super, super weird. Huh, I'm gonna have to look. For the video you made on the beast, who should we build? Did you include the ice crown? So the ice crown is a beast that would, and I do recommend building, but the ice crown is not the priority. So when you look at the ice crown beast, even looking here, frozen enemies lose the crit block rating. At the start of battle, ice crown lies dormant. The reason why it kind of changed it when it comes to the ice crown and why ice crown wasn't included is when it comes to ice crown, it doesn't require a level 18. This, of course, can help when it comes to damage, but it doesn't require a level 18. It doesn't require a big build. You can get Beast Resonance 12, and Ice Crown will work incredibly well. What's going on? Is it Dario Rodriguez? Hello, big fan. First time to tune in. Thank you for joining us for the stream. I really wish I could go in here and I could gift the membership. That's pretty garbage that we can't gift the membership. I love doing that every time. And what's going on, Case? Thank you for joining us as well. Yeah, so we'll get, yeah, that's the big thing is when you look at some of these guys and even looking like at the trickery chest, the 18 in here is really, really big. Even thinking of like the slumbering seal, the 18 in here is really big. Looking at even the owl, even looking at the panda. Time zone now lasts 10. Time zone increased the haste of allied heroes in the zone, decreasing the haste of enemy heroes. This is very big. There are a lot of beasts that do incredibly well with the 18, which are the reason why they are a lot bigger and a higher priority to build because they don't have it. Do I have any pets higher than 18? Yeah. We have the panda, or excuse me, slumbering seal is at 33. Flutter plume is at 26. We have 24 on the panda. I'm building these out. You can see we have a couple more right here. I'm going to finish out the seal. I just build them whenever we can or whenever I have some extra copies of, just for the simple fact that we know we're going to build them all out. Even here, we have one more of the panda. Let's drop in Mr. Pandy. And then we already have this almost built out here, and then Panda will go ahead. We built all 4. Of course, this was the awakened version of Belinda, why we did all of the intelligence buff first. Let's go ahead and we'll throw this. You know what? Let's throw it on the agility. We'll get a little buff. I'm going to build them all up. And again, as we get new beasts released, they are already at 18, which is the way to do it. Is SI40 on Gavis worth it? I wouldn't. I don't think I did. I don't think Gavis I built to 40. Now I say, well, that kind of looks like Gavis, but that is Zephyriel. I didn't build the 40 in here. Again, after entering battle, permanently increases Gavis's attack and defense. There's some formations Gavis does okay with the damage, but honestly, there's a lot of other heroes that I prioritize a little higher. Since 2018 playing this game, yeah, ever since the beginning, guys, it has been very cool. So it's still good if you don't need, yeah, exactly, Mystical. Doesn't need 18, still does work incredibly well. Yeah, Gavis, again, I wouldn't build to a 40. Couple that I did build a little bit higher. Fury was one that we did build up a little bit higher. Even looking at Marseille, looking at a couple of our damage dealers, we did build out a little bit higher. I feel like there's a few in here that I absolutely need to come in and probably look at. One, getting the plus 40 signature items, so building these up a little bit higher. Getting a couple heroes to plus 40 and getting some of the engraving. Even looking here, probably doing a 60 engraving in here to really make a big difference, having this built out a little bit further. And a lot of players also said, I believe it was Meleon that they were talking about having the 60. That we have this damage increase, that Meleon is an absolute requirement for a plus 60. Again, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research after this and see what it is. What's the best way to get stones to upgrade gear? Honestly, time. Time is the absolute biggest thing, and it looks like AFK decided to quit at this point. But yeah, getting any of the stones, you're going to get them out of a lot of different game modes. Even looking here, guys, you get these with chests. So you get a tier 2 piece of gear. Even here, this is a tier 1 piece of gear. But even looking here, we have a lot of stones already that we kind of accumulate. And I believe there's also some other chests that do kind of accumulate them as well. They come in time. The tier stones right now are not super important to get. I would use them on my primary damage dealers as you get them. Again, I wouldn't focus on building them out. I wouldn't rush to buy them out of different modes. There are so many other things that are going to far eclipse what you have there. And it looks like we only have one more day in there, and then that is done. Twisted Bounties, a couple more out of here. Even the event deals we're not doing anything with. What are we at? 2 right here. We're going to have to wait to buy or get that bundle later. And then the trade post is just the other place. So again, loving AFK Arena, guys, not going anywhere, but I think we are just a little bit over time. And again, it looks like our campaign progression is absolutely dead at this point. So we are getting the black screen, but that is going to do it for the stream. What's going on, Hello? Showing up a little late because we're just concluding our 1-hour stream. Now I'm going to hop over. I am going to play some World of Warcraft. I've been playing it little by little, really pacing myself, setting a very short window. About an hour a day is all that I'm doing because I don't want the massive time consumption that we've seen with Raid and a couple other games. I'm literally just building it up little by little, and it's very, it's a lot of fun. Again, after stopping playing for 10, 12 years, I'm definitely going to hop on there, just play a little bit of World of Warcraft and check it out. But again, guys, that is going to do it. And again, it's still completely broken, probably blue stacks, but that is going to do it for today's live stream. So thank you guys for joining me as always. I know we're trying to get back to the regular scheduled time. My wife told me that she will hurt me if I go back to WoW. Yes, and she should, Lith. Absolutely, she should hurt you. If you're putting as much time as I was putting into World of Warcraft, it was absolutely asinine to try to maintain a relationship, unless, of course, your spouse plays World of Warcraft, would be just absolutely, again, kind of crazy. And I'm still kind of baffled that I can't gift any of the memberships. I don't like that at all. So I am going to absolutely have to see. All right, guys, again, that is going to do it for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining me on the off time, the late night stream. But guys, got a lot more stuff that is coming down the pipeline. We know there's going to be new heroes. There's going to be new updates. And of course, it's all going to be here. So guys, again, thank you guys for joining me for the stream. And as always, thank you guys for watching.